Hey, back in first place like they never left. Your Miami Dolphins victorious over the New York Giants today, 31-16. And look, just fantastic performance at home. They just continue to throttle teams in their own building. And after a tough month where you have to play 3 out of 4 on the road, you finish 3-1. You get embarrassed last week by the Buffalo Bills. You come into this game, you realize the Bills, they lose in London to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars doing some of your dirty work. You walk into this game and you do exactly what you wanted and had to do, which was throttle the New York Giants. And just I think first off, and this is kind of crazy to think about, the Miami Dolphins had a total of 524 yards of total offense today. And yet, I feel like most Dolphins are thinking to themselves, whew, the defense actually showed up today. And yeah, you guys could be a bunch of caveat cowboys and be like, hey, they're taking on the New York Giants. I get you. New York Giants are giving up sacks like they're going out of style. But the Miami Dolphins defense had to have a little bit of giddy up, a little pep in their step, had to feel a little bit like, hey, we have been getting our name dragged through the mud. We're looked at as the thing that's holding this team back. And then today, they go out there, don't give up an offensive touchdown today. Just an absolute tremendous performance. I really thought that, first of all, I thought that up front you saw just a big difference in energy, in pursuit, and just havoc from your two big dogs up front, and that was Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins. I mean, I felt like you saw Christian Wilkins back out there today just humming after, even though the first pursuit didn't work, you saw Christian Wilkins getting after it, terrorizing, Daniel Jones or whoever had the ball. He was getting after it. Zach Sealer was an absolute, it's a giant. He was against the Giants. He was an absolute monster. Sealer it on up, getting it done. And so for them to go out there and have that kind of performance was really, really important. And I thought that, they were absolutely scary today. And yeah, they were taking on a vulnerable beast in the New York Giants. But in a lot of ways, it's like, hey, you had to start off doing something against the most inept, because you don't want to be the team that's like, you're facing them and you're going to get right against the Miami Dolphins. You had to be like, no, we're going to use this, all this talk of, are him and our Fangs and the team on the same page? Is there a little bit of prickliness going on through there? No, they went out there today and just absolutely throttled them. 7 sacks on the day. Andrew Von Ginkel remains being a menace. He knocked Daniel Jones out of this game. Just an absolute behemoth in this game. And then the sacks for today, you had Jerome Baker. He had a sack and a half. Emmanuel Ogbah, he gets on the scoreboard with a sack and a half. Christian Wilkins getting in on the action. Eli Apple was getting in on the action. Zach Sealer had a couple of them, had tackles for loss. Sealer had by far his best game of the season. And you just had a Giants offense that really couldn't get anything done without the benefit of the Miami Dolphins turnover. And I think that's the other thing, is you had a game like this for the Miami Dolphins that was really comfortable, was really in hand the entire time. And this is, mind you, with a game where the Miami Dolphins had 3 really critical turnovers and really demoralizing turnovers. 2 of them resulting in 10 points. One was just a brutal pick 6 right before halftime. 102 yards. Giants tip it, take it to the house. So, yeah, I think, like, it's pretty wild to think about, but Tua probably looks at this, 22 of 30, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and he probably thinks to himself, mother bleeper, I could have had a better, this is not to the best of my capabilities. And that's the kind of standard these guys are creating for themselves. But you want to talk about the speed demons today, dude. I mean, Devon Achane remains a marvel. The guy is so electric every time he touches the damn football. I think that he's going to take it to the house. And that was with him today. 11 carries. 11 carries. 151 yards. 1 touchdown. And he, of course, dropped that, had that rough lost fumble today. Raheem Mostert, 10 carries, 65 yards with a touchdown. So these guys, like, it's a wild thing because, like, you go and you look at the team stats on this puppy and you look at time of possession. The Dolphins got didn't win the time of possession battle by a lot. The Giants had the ball for 36 minutes today and didn't score an offensive touchdown. I mean, if that's how you want to let you know, like, what the Dolphins were, first of all, what a great defensive effort that was. And then on top of it, just how quick and efficient the Dolphins were. And, like, all the numbers that are coming out are like, they're passing the greatest show on turf. Wink Martindale, of course, in the midst of this week said that they were like the greatest show on turf, but supersonic. And the Dolphins actually passed the 2000 Rams by most yards of any team through the first 5 games of the season, passing the Rams, who had 2,527, and the Dolphins passed that. Crazy. It's crazy what we're seeing right now. But I think it was just one of those games where it was like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that you could clean up if you want to be a curmudgeon. But in reality, like, first of all, right out of the gate, first possession, you getting yourself a penguin dance, which is, I've been waiting for it. Jalen Waddle gets in that end zone, and they wind him on up. And we got the penguin dance, baby. We got the Waddle back in the end zone, which listen, makes me so happy to see. I love Jalen Waddle touchdowns. They're a delight. They are a delight. So you had that to get the Dolphins off to a fast start in this game. And, the Giants, probably the first start to their ineptitude today, towards the end of the first quarter, you get a huge sack from, it was like Wilkins, Agba, Chubb, all just a gang tackle sack on Danny Dimes. And I honestly do feel bad for that guy. Like, he is out there with, a tattered offensive line, I think at one point they had like a practice squad center in there today. And they get out there to start this, and it's like, all right, 55-yard field goal try. No good. And you can just see, I don't know if anybody noticed this, but like Brian Daboll, who, was the alleged guru, right? The Josh Allen whisperer, all that stuff. He's sitting there and he's got this vest on, right? The sweatsuit on, but he has just the biggest towel ever on him. It's like, it's the biggest sweat rag you've ever seen. And, like, we've seen this. The Miami Dolphins, they're wilting teams in this sun. And they did a great job of that today to really have the touchdown to cap things off, which was after Tua's second interception. But, oh my God, I was like, that is the biggest sweat towel I've ever seen in my life. That man is melting out here, Brian Daboll. So that was wild. And then you had Devon Achane. He fumbles it after getting the ball back. But the Giants really do nothing with it. Christian Wilkins is a menace getting after Daniel Jones. And then there was probably one of the biggest plays of the game, where it was called, the Dolphins get a punt. They call a penalty on the Dolphins, 12 men on the field. Mike McDaniel has to challenge it. They go back, and these dummy refs apparently don't know how to count, because they penalized the Dolphins for something they didn't commit, which was no 12 men on the field. So the Dolphins get the ball back. They get the original punt that they had, that they were going to get the first down to the Giants. And you have one play, just a great find from Tua as he's put under a little bit of heat. I'm trying to remember who it was to. I don't remember if it was to Waddle or to Barrett. I forget. But the next touch, Devon Achane to the house. And it's just like, you watch this guy get the mother-bleeping football. He's so electric, which is crazy to think about. You have a team with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, and you're thinking to yourself, this guy may be the most. I don't think anybody's more electric than Tyreek Hill, but maybe. He's like the first guy that you ever have to like think about it. Because like nobody's faster than the cheetah. Nobody's more electric than. Nobody's more untouchable than the cheetah. But maybe they have if there is a rival to it, if there is anybody who's close to him, it may be Devon Achane. He may be the one guy who might just be like, I don't know if he's faster than Tyreek Hill, but he might be. He might be. I might have to have a conversation. I'm not going to have the conversation for a little bit, but I'm taking notes. And I'm like, this guy he's just that devastating, and he's that electric. But the Giants really were just thinking of, the Giants really just were in disarray today, and Zach Sealer was just a big part of that. The entire front really did a great job, and it was needed, man. It was needed for Vic Fangio to get these guys right, to get these guys in the mindset, because what happened last week was really embarrassing for the defense. Everybody had a bad performance, but the defense, it just felt like they gave the Dolphins no shot. And today, I think they picked the Dolphins up in spots where it's like, you know what? It wasn't. And again, I say this on the day they put up 524 yards, but the turnovers were still annoying, and the defense just never wilted on it, never blinked at it, because even when you had a situation with the Dolphins, it was funny. I was walking to my son's flag football game today, and for flag football, it was like opening day, and I have it on my phone, and I was like a little bit late, like right as it's starting, because I was coming back from doing the pregame show, and I just go, "Mother bleeper," out loud, and I'm like, oh, man, I shouldn't have said it out loud at this youth football facility, but that's how I felt when the Giants took that pick that was in the end zone. That should have been 21-3, and instead it's 14-10. You're just like, all right, they should just be in a much better spot from this. And they get a field goal to end the half. They go up 17-0, and then like right out of the gate, Tua, he finds Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill doing Tyreek Hill things, which is little Bombsky touchdown, 69 yards. And then we have one of the most egregious moves ever, which is a fan went down to the railing because Tyreek Hill was trying to give the football to his mom. And this guy was trying to take it. Tyreek Hill's obviously got to leave. He got fouled for excessive celebration, which it was. But the cheetah is now like going up, and he finds his mom in the stands. But the guy takes the football, and everybody's like, "Hey, give Cheetah's mom that football." So bad move by that guy. He needs to answer for his crimes. But anyway, man. So then it was just after that happened, it was just more of the same for the defense. They had Daniel Jones just running for his absolute life. The only thing that was kind of left as a teaching lesson is the Dolphins up 24-10. Tua had a real rough pick. He was trying to find Jalen Waddle, airmailed a little bit. Giants pick it off, and they ended up getting a field goal. And then the next drive, Mike McDaniel really just, I don't know if he was punishing Tua or teaching Tua a lesson or just having one, but they basically went Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert alternating touches all the way down, and the Giants could do nothing with it. And then right before the end of the third quarter, you could just see the Giants defensive line. They're ready to wilt. They're ready to pass out, and they get one last snap before the quarter. Mostert, bang, touchdown. So it really was all around just a full-on ass kicking with definitely some stuff. I think the offense is going to look back at this. Tua's basically had a throw. He's basically had a throw a game where he's like, I should have that back. And I'm not going to sit here and quibble, dude. 524 motherfucking yards. What are we doing? The defense, not an offensive touchdown given up. The only thing you can really complain is, hey, turn the ball over. But to think about that, think about how, and this also speaks to just how awful the Giants are. But you lost the turnover battle. Turnovers were, lost the turnover battle 3-0. Lost the time of possession 24 minutes to 36 minutes. Won by 2 scores. And easily. fourth quarter, the Dolphins were still like they weren't doing the going for any burgers or nothing like that. The Dolphins were really like, especially with the Tua picks, like they really went with the run game. But I mean, what can you say, dude? Like 302 yards through the air, monster game from Cheetah. Cheetah today gets to 181 yards on 8 catches with his touchdown. Jalen Waddle 5 for 35, but he had he of course had the TD. Cedric Wilson got on the action, and 4 catches for 52 yards. Has to be one of his most one of his most productive games as a Dolphin. And the numbers for Achane are just stupid. I mean, like, it's not even he has been a video game unto himself. So just a really thorough win for the Dolphins. Did what they had to do. 4-1, back in first place. Welcome in the Carolina Panthers, who are, I think that game should be over now. Let me see. They lost 42-24 to the Lions today to drop to 0-5. So, licking your chops if you're the Dolphins, thinking to yourself, all right, we got a chance to put up some big numbers. And by the way, just for everybody's delight, McCorkle Jones, if it wasn't good enough, the Bills lost. Patriots lost today 34-0. McCorkle benched in the performance. Awful performance. And right now, I believe we have Jets. I'm doing this about right before Jets and Broncos is about to kick off. What can you say, dude? This team had the full performance you were hoping for. Yes, you want to be. Who cares? You look out there. Did they struggle with the Giants? No. Did they have a dogfight with the Giants? No. Did the defense give up a bunch of yards to the Giants? No. Yes. Bad turnover. You cannot sit here and quibble. This was a thorough ass kicking, and you're in first motherfucking place.